Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his trusty sidekick.
Hello.
Today we're taking a look at our first Polish aircraft, which is a PLZ23, also known as the Karas. It was a level bomber, a light medium bomber, so a light level bomber, which means it's not a dive bomber, it just flies along and drops its eggs from a level flying position, whereas dive bombers tend to aim at the target. Dive bombers tend to be more accurate.
Yeah, like Stuka.
Yeah. In fact, they tend to be very accurate because you actually aim your bomb
and you're straight down
and release your bomb as you come down. These guys don't do that. These guys just fly along on a level and they drop the bomb on the target.
So an ordinary bomber.
Yeah, they use a little bomb aimer to drop the bomb. So this is the actual model. Underneath you can see the bombs. It's an interesting one. It's got a machine gun to the base, to the bottom of the aircraft, and it's got a machine gun on the rear and then a pilot. So it's a little bit better in bolt action because it means it has two machine guns that can fire at an attacking aircraft. So you're going to lose initiative with this anyway, so it's going to get attacked by a fighter plane before you can do anything about it, so at least you can shoot back.
Yeah.
So you get yourself two little guns on the rear which can strafe enemy aircraft attacking, so that's a good thing. That's 8 dice against an enemy fighter.
But still.
Could make a difference. Not much, but could.
Actually, it passed because he gave me a pin. He shot me with a pin and it got scared and ran off.
Yes, yeah, which is the whole point. You try and get the attacking fighter plane to not attack you. Right, so it you can use it as either using one or two bombs due to the bolt action rulebook, the same as dropping bombs, or you can use them as individual bombs. We use them to, if you buy the plane and it's not called in, if you actually buy it, then we allow you to use the bombs individually. You can drop as many as you want. They're 250 pound bombs, which means they're basically a medium howitzer. The effect as a medium howitzer. So that would give you a +3 penetration, 2d6 HE, d3 pins, so quite good. And it carries 6 of them. So that's a considerable amount of damage you can do to an enemy unit.
Yep.
Which is what yours did to mine.
Very well. Actually,
yeah.
Did very well, yeah.
Yeah, he plastered mine. So that's the plane.
I believe the American bomber had a machine gun bomb in it as well.
Yeah, a few did. Not many, a few did. There was the late war ones. They nearly all had low firing guns and stuff like that. But this period, there weren't many aircraft that had the bottom, the ventral shooting position, and that's because it's got a bomb bay. The windows on the bottom that's basically a bomb bay that the bomber lays in, and he can also use it to fire back. Gun wise, it's got one forward firing machine gun and 2 rear firing machine guns, so that's quite useful. Not as good as a fighter plane, but this isn't going to win any awards for flying ability. It's an early war light bomber. It's not brilliant. Up against the Germans, it doesn't stand much of a chance because you're going to be up against things like 109s, which will just run rings about it. But the early Russian aircraft, it would probably stand a bit more chance against.
But I think it'll be able to stand against a Polycarp of I-15, but I don't think about I-16.
Yeah, it will lose against an I-16.
Evenish.
Yeah. But, you know, it's there, it's useful, and the Poles need as much support as they can get, so they can get themselves a little light bomber. Historically wise, it was the first aircraft to bomb Germany in the Second World War. They bombed shortly after the outbreak of war. The Germans were so confident that they'd wiped out the Polish Air Force on the first day, because they hit all the airfields. Their battle plan had not taken into account the defence of Germany. So they had no aircraft support protecting cities in Germany, and so these guys flew over the border and bombed Germany. So that's a little laurel goes to them.
Yeah, pretty much.
They bombed a couple of small German towns which had nothing to do with anything, and what else? I think they tried to bomb a factory and they bombed a railway. That was it, and then they were relegated to supporting ground troops because the war was going so badly for them.
Yeah.
They were asked to support ground troops, which is not really what this plane was designed for. It's designed to take out individual targets rather than just fly around the battlefield looking for targets. But
F1.
Yeah, it's just not that manoeuvrable. It's a bit like a flying brick, really, compared to a lot of ground attack aircraft.
Well, if the enemy have no air support, then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You rule the skies.
And basically, unfortunately the Germans switched after, I think, the third day. They ordered all their fighter planes to support ground troops. So that got them entangled. That meant that the ground troops that were being bombed, the Germans had fighter planes to cover that area, so these guys started getting shot down there. Although it did help the Polish fighter planes, who were then able to attack the German bombers. So we'll go into that in another video. Tactically wise, how do you use it?
I'd say what I just did. I would use a standard fighter, a regular fighter, what the Polish have, which is the PLZ23.
Yeah.
To clear the skies, and then I just use the bomber to circle, pick any main objects off.
Yeah.
So if it's make it go away, go on the Russian side.
That was an accident.
Or a team of it's like an echelon.
Yeah.
So then typical things bombed. BT7s as well. I just pick all the big targets off and shoot and blow them all up.
Yeah,
especially if they're in a line.
Yes, you had yours in a line. I dropped all my bombs over your units. One of the bombs went wide. One was a dud, didn't go off. Another one missed completely.
But hit, make it go away again. I got it right behind it.
Yeah, another one hit. That one actually landed directly on his heavy howitzer, which I couldn't see. So that was quite good. That I took your howitzer out.
Yeah, at least T-26s are alright.
Yeah, T-76 has survived.
Because they're the ones who are targeting.
Yeah. It can. You can change the outcome of a game with it, because you got basically you're dropping 6 heavy howitzers.
Well, ever since that, I thought, lost the game. No, never mind, no, I won. Yeah!
No. As with all aircraft of the period, or most aircraft of the period, it didn't have a radio, so it's going to have very low initiative. Most armies didn't go in for radios. The Japanese actually did slightly, but that's a whole nother story.
Well, yeah, we're doing Japanese next. So.
Yeah, the Japanese used to use their radios to listen to the radio. They'd listen to music.
Sweet home
Seriously, they wouldn't actually listen to try and communicate with each other. They would just turn it onto the radio channel and just listen to music while they were fighting.
Just shoot down the Japanese plane and the music's still playing.
Yeah. And this comes from debriefing pilots. The debrief pilots will say, how did your radio work? Because the Americans wanted to know, and they captured pilots. And the Japanese were like, I just used it to listen to the radio. I didn't use it to talk to people. Because the radios didn't have range, really. You could only really talk to your teammates. And even then, only one plane would be fitted with them usually, so there was no one to talk to. So one plane in a squadron would have a radio, and the rest wouldn't. So you may as well just listen to music on it, because it's not going to do anything else. It's only got a range of 50 odd miles. So you're flying anywhere in the Pacific, you're not going to be able to talk to anyone on the radio.
Especially during the Pacific War.
Yeah. The Germans had radios in most of their planes, which meant you could... a useful thing in bolt action, if we're going to bring this back to the bolt action game, if you've got a radio on board a plane, that should make it easier for you to avoid being attacked, because your teammates and other planes can warn you if you're being attacked. And this, I've reading an article on Japanese pilots, and the pilots would see an enemy plane going after one of their planes. This is over China, but they weren't able to tell them because the other plane didn't have a radio, and so they lost a lot of planes. Had they all had radios, they could have said, "There's a guy coming in from 12 o'clock."
It did have radio, but it was too
listening to
music.
was listening to Radio Tokyo instead of so there is that. So although the Polish planes didn't have radios, certainly the PLZ there was nowhere to put a radio. There's just no room in the thing.
I try listening to Japanese music. Half it's English and half it's Japanese.
Well, yeah, because they appeal to multiple markets, so they put English words in. And some words don't sound good in Japanese, so they use the English word because it just sounds better to the song.
I guess.
Yeah. So that's why they do that. And also they can sell the music, so like what was the band, the girl band, with all, like 50 girls in it?
Girls' Generation?
Yeah. I think there's 9 girls in it. They sing in English as well as Korean, and so their songs can be marketed to Japan and all around the world. Whereas if you only sing in Chinese or whatever, people aren't going to buy your songs because it's all in Chinese. So it doesn't make much sense.
I don't even know how to speak in Chinese.
Well, I'd like to see if an English artist would actually try and sing in another language, because they never do.
Because it's impossible for us.
No, it's interesting that foreign singers sing in English.
Yeah, but...
And British bands can't speak a word of any other language, and certainly can't sing in another language.
It should be easy for us though, because English is the hardest language to learn on the planet.
Well, that's just said by people who can't learn English.
And when people say about buying English as a language, we're really popular around the world, our country.
Well, yeah, because
it's the name of our country all the time.
It's a Type 1 civilization language. It's basically a language used by everybody. Because it's a universal language. Everyone speaks English. Partly because of the British Empire. But mostly because of our trading. Because we traded all over the world. And so...
Russia.
No.
We'll stay away from Russia.
No, Russia was our main trading partner throughout the Napoleonic Wars. That's why we went to war with France, because she invaded Russia. Because she was against Russia.
Well, we would have lost Waterloo without the...
the Russians went to war with France because they were at war with us. Russia was our biggest ally. All of our iron came from Russia for the British Empire to build all our ships. All of the rope that we used for the rigging came from Russia. All the sails came from Russia. Everything came from... Russia was the biggest export market for the British Empire. We wouldn't have had our own navy without Russia. Which is why Napoleon invaded Russia, to try and stop the Russians from trading.
And completely failed.
And completely failed, because Napoleon was an idiot.
Well, if Hitler can't invade Russia, no one's going to be able to invade Russia.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, the Ottoman Empire invaded Russia, and Russia destroyed the Ottoman Empire. Nazi Germany invaded Russia, and Russia destroyed Germany. France invaded Russia under Napoleon. The European Union of Napoleon invaded Russia. And Russia wiped Europe off the face of the earth.
I'm starting to wonder why we never actually just got involved in it.
We're just friends with Russia, we'll be fine. And now NATO today, threats from Russia, we're all planning to go to war with Russia. Yeah, do you know what will happen? They will wipe out NATO in the first 30 minutes, and then they'll just... They'll probably not even bother invading us, they'll just sit there and let the pound collapse.
On the map, Europe times 5 Europe equals Russia.
I think a bit more than times 5, but most of Russia is covered in snow.
And
it's snow and tundra, no one lives there. There's vast areas of Russia where nobody lives.
I did find it funny when they sold Alaska to the Americans, and then the Americans
just
thought it was useless.
Yeah.
And then the Americans found all the oil. The whole place was full of oil.
Yeah, that was a slap in the face, wasn't it?
And the Russians were like, come here back. After we go down.
Yeah. But when Russia sold Alaska to the United States, it was really to alleviate pressure from the Germans. The Americans wanted to alleviate pressure from the British Empire because Britain could basically bring stuff straight through Alaska if they needed to. There were only like 2 roads in the whole country at the time. But really the Americans didn't like the idea that if they went to war with the British Empire and invaded Canada, Canada could get support from Russia. Whereas if America held Alaska, Russia couldn't send aid. Bear in mind, Russia was Britain's biggest ally for like 200 years. And then they
threw it all away in the bin and got oil.
Well, in the end, the British stabbed the Russians in the back. We attacked the Russians because we were trying to defend the Ottoman Empire for some stupid reason.
We won.
Yeah, we won, and we saved the Ottoman Empire, which was unbelievably retarded.
Well, bits of it.
Oh, the empire collapsed anyway. It was going to collapse. It was never going to survive.
We survived the head and the legs.
No, because the Ottomans destroyed the Janissary system. The Janissaries are pretty much useless by then anyway. But because the Ottomans destroyed the Janissary system, the Ottoman Empire can never win a war again. Because it no longer had the ability to replace the ranks.
Anyway, Poland.
Poland, sorry, we've gone off on one again. Sorry, we do that.
I really did finish the entire plane about the Poland, we just went off about radio.
Yeah, well, the radio is an interesting point. And I am reading a lot about it at the moment, and I think it's quite interesting. I know no one else gives a flying damn. Although, I will mention for our American viewers, if you're still watching at this point, the PLZ is called a PLZ. I believe Americans use the phrase Z.
Z?
They say Z, you did, just then.
Did I?
Yeah, you called it the PLZ.
I'll call it Pliz.
It's the PLZ.
It's Pliz.
Yeah, I don't know why Americans say Z, it's very strange.
Can I PL?
No, Z, they say Z instead of Z.
Z?
Yes, they don't use Z, they say Z.
Z is a more annoying term to Z.
Yeah, but they use Z, I don't know why they use
Yeah, there's a lot of British words that in America get changed to different... I mean, most Americans don't even know what crumpets are.
Well, most people in England don't know what crumpets are these days.
That's because we've got teenagers.
Because most people in England eat bagels these days and stuff like that.
Yeah, American people are just amazing, isn't it?
Oh god. Anyway, yeah, so it's a PLZ for the American audience, and it's a PLZ for the British audience.
PLZ says, wow, way cooler. Just saying it.
Yeah, have you got any more questions for it?
No.
No? We did go off on one though, didn't we?
Quite a fun go off though.
Yeah, we do go off. I wonder if it annoys our viewers.
Well, if you're annoying them by now, want to have 300 and something subscribers.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if it annoys you when we just go off rambling on stuff.
We'll just make 5-minute videos.
Well, no, it's just that there are things that link to other things, and then we end up talking about the other thing, and it's usually your fault because you ask questions about it and stuff. You brought Alaska into it.
Yeah, that's why it's a funny thing to say because my family was talking about it earlier.
Yeah. So this is the lovely Karas. I think it means bird or something, doesn't it? It's a type of bird.
I don't know about birds.
Isn't it? I thought it was... No, I think Karas is a type of bird in Polish. I don't know. I can't speak Polish. That's why I never use any of the Polish terms, because it is an indescribably difficult language to understand. Yeah, I don't know what that means either. I don't know what anything means in Polish. Even though my family come from Poland, I don't know any language.
I like that. When it says Ursus, it says A/car.
I'm a car, yeah.
A car.
A car. A/car is I'm a car.
It just looks like a car. It's a car.
Only if you say.
Hey. Take that back.
No. No, my point is still valid. Yeah, anyway, light bomber. A lot bigger than the Russian planes. The Russians use basically fighter plane size things to drop bombs a lot. They had medium and light bombers as well, but most of them were lost at the beginning of the war, and I didn't really see any point in adding them to the Russian army because they didn't really make an input because most of the SB2s and stuff were just wiped off the sky on day one. So didn't see much point doing them for the period we're doing, given that we're doing the early war stuff.
Yeah.
So this is Polish. That's it. That's the end of the video. Do you want to do the outro thing?
So, if you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of the Karas.
PLZ23. It was called.
Karas. That's everything from me.
And that's everything from him. Good day.
See ya.